We must breach this city and flay anyone that stands in our way. The Night Haunter drives us onward without pause, deeper into the ruins, deeper into the bloodshed. The defenders are fractured now. Solar Auxilia formations scramble to rebuild their lines, while night engines stalk the outskirts like hunting beasts. Let them exhaust themselves trying to contain us. Every street they fortify becomes another grave waiting to be filled. And Curze wastes no time. The Mastodons advance at full pace, their engines shaking the ruins apart as our forces drive toward the center of the war zone. And once again, the knights stand waiting. Proud engines, proud banners, but this time they will not stand alone. Armored columns choke the streets, artillery lines their rear positions. Titans stalk the horizon beneath clouds of ash and smoke. They think weight of fire will halt us. They think this city will be saved. They are wrong. Tonight, the streets will run red!
Hello, and welcome back to the Mead Hall. I'm your host Jay, and today I have with me...
Elle.
And Eliza.
Hi guys, welcome to the next episode of the War Table.
It's good to be here.
So, in today's action-packed episode, we have the Night Lords versus the Solar Auxilia and some knights as allies, and we've got a bit of a twist because the Night Lords are being helmed by myself, and the Solar Auxilia and the knights are being helmed by Eliza and Elle. So
us two idiots. Let's go.
Yeah,
it's a 2v1, and I'm piloting someone else's army, so this could only go well, right?
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
So, without any further ado, should we go straight in and have a look at the game? So then, here we are. We have seen our little intro, and now we're going into the main game, so to speak.
Certainly are.
So, unlike our normal format, we would actually have... Normally, we'd have two participants and then two bystanders. In this particular show, all three of us were active in the game.
We were.
So this should be quite interesting to look back on and reflect on, hopefully. And I'm gonna put this out there straight away that I think this game was potentially quite cinematic and interesting, but also quite a good opportunity to learn a few things in this game as well.
Oh, for sure.
100%.
So I think one thing we're going to try and do in this episode is we're obviously going to talk through the game as we normally would, but I think we're going to try a little bit more of a tactical breakdown in some areas as well, just to sort of show what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's easier to do when all three of us were actually in the game.
Yeah.
Let's actually have a look at what we had going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly just pop our cameras away there so you can kind of see the whole battlefield. Just have a little look. As you can see, it is very dense on the left-hand side.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Not so dense on the right-hand side. And this time, you lot can't blame me for having a tricksy army, because it wasn't my army.
No, you just were helming someone else's tricksy army.
Well, I mean, that would be the case if I ever played them that way.
Well, in this particular game, I attempted to do just that.
You certainly did.
And we'll see how it goes. But let's actually have a look at our deployment, because obviously my side's quite sparse in terms of density, but that's because there's more vehicles and there's stuff off the table, whereas you guys didn't have anything in reserve.
Yeah.
No.
You had a good sort of, I want to say like basically half in reserve, right?
Nowhere near.
No?
Nowhere near.
It felt like it.
I had...
It's because he does it in waves. We know this.
I think I had less than 500 points in reserve.
Okay.
So that's, less than a sixth?
Yeah.
So yeah, I did not have
much.
I did not have much in reserve at all this time. It might have felt like more because it was also small units, but...
And you had stuff in
That's probably, that's more likely what it probably was.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at what we actually had on my side of the table then. So on my side of the table, I had a sort of a focus on pushing units to the, well, as we present them on these shows, so the north and the southern side of the board. Mainly because if we have a look at the game board, we've got a nice sort of trench almost in the middle, or a funnel that could have been very, very poor for me to just barrel down because you had quite a lot of long range guns. So I didn't fancy that, so I was focusing on the two sides.
Yeah.
And I had sort of like a plan going on. Those Mastodons are filled with some heavy hitting assault based units, so I was kind of hoping to sort of slide them up the table nice and quickly, with a little bit of support. And then in addition to that, on the other side, I sort of had this sort of tank heavy force. It was actually more of a distractionary force, really, kind of take the attention away from the other side. Didn't necessarily work out like that. Then I think because your side was quite so dense, you didn't have much of a choice but to pile stuff everywhere anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll have a quick look at that as well, because
there's a lot of units.
Yeah, you had a hell of a lot of units.
It was mostly the Auxilia that had so many units, and then Eliza was just like, "I'm gonna put this one knight here, and I'm done for a bit." So I was like, oh, "Okay, I'll just keep piling out detachments then."
Yeah, so it was an extremely infantry heavy Auxilia force, and then obviously basically one knight formation and a Titan under Eliza's control.
Yeah.
I genuinely think I misinterpreted just how much infantry there was when because this whole 2v1 was my suggestion, and I think I kind of blindsided myself a bit because I kept having stuff to put out, and it genuinely got to one point where me and Eliza were like, "Oh, there's no space left in the deployment zone. What's going on?"
Well, I mean, I to be fair, I had thought ahead a little bit and reserved some spaces.
You did, yeah. There were a couple of spaces where you were like, "At least leave me that bit, just that bit, please."
Yeah,
so
it's interesting because you did deploy pretty much the entire auxiliary army, I think, first, bar Titan. So you kind of had to squeeze your knights in at the end.
Yeah, because I kind of wanted to hold off bringing in the sort of the knights for the real heavy hitting until you had stuff down.
Stuff that could hurt them and stuff. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
The irony is I had a lot less drops anyway, so you actually would have been quite comfortable to put the knights down early. So yes, this is your somewhat epic gun line, I think. Very much playing the defense. So in this particular mission, we've got a custom mission that I've written which I've currently called Evacuate. Essentially, I am the attacker, and I've got to get a group of tokens, in this case transports, from one side of the table to the other, and I've got to escape off the edge of the enemy's deployment zone. So I've got three units in my deployment zone that have transports attached to them, so that's where you might see a couple of land raiders randomly plucked down here and there. Those are my transports. They've got my core objectives in, and my objective is to get them across the board. Now, we've obviously gone for a long deployment edge as well. Sorry, a short deployment edge. So that's technically making it even harder for me.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got a nice defensive position there. So it's an interesting one, and this definitely encourages a very asymmetric style of play. You guys are very, very much encouraged to defend, and I have to push out.
Yeah, we made sure. I sort of made sure we were putting some units on key bits that we could expand out to potentially to take more objectives, but for the most part, we had planned to sort of stay in one place. Really,
we had stuff positioned so that we weren't gonna be tempted to offend. We did have Eliza and I did have a conversation at the beginning where we were both like, so we're defending, we're not attacking, we're going to defend, and we're going to do it right this time. Mm-hmm. It was almost like Like we were giving each other a pep talk.
So, that's our deployments, and as you can see, our screen has already kind of shifted over to the sort of pre-movement of round 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to crack straight on and have a look at how the game played out, because quite a lot of things happened in this game, so I kind of want to move straight into it and see what happens.
Yeah, I think we should just crack on, yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide our cameras as per usual, and I'm going to just show off the board in its totality for the movement phase. There is one interesting thing that kind of happens pretty quickly in this section, which we'll come on to in a second. So let's just have a quick look at where we end up. So this is where we are.
Our side of the board has not moved all that much because we made a point of defending and not attacking. So I think we only moved like a couple of bits and pieces to go and try and get some objectives.
So let's just quickly go back again, just to show you one more time. Concentrating on the left-hand side for the defenders. There we go. So you can kind of see what happened at that point.
Yeah, there was some key heavy hitters that I wanted to move a bit forward to get them in range early on. You can see that with the Acastus and a couple of the Questoris. Well, those Questoris were more moving up with that unit of Ogren.
Got some little advances going on.
Yeah. And a couple of units of Ogren just to press those central objectives.
Yep, so you got a cautious advance, but you're mostly defending, which is potentially correct, or potentially not. We'll see. We'll see how the next round goes. What is interesting, though, is you did make some advance moves into some buildings up in the north there, which, if I just zoom in a little bit for you, gave me a rather lovely opportunity to unleash a Primarch on turn 1.
Yes, you did unleash Curze.
Did not enjoy that at all.
To be fair, I think that was a mistake mostly on my part of, like, I kind of, for some reason, forgot you could just disembark. So I was setting up a nice little trap for your transports coming past there, and just completely ignored the fact that you could just get the things out and attack us with them.
Yeah, so if I can show you there, so we've got the Mastodons there, and because of the relatively generous movement capabilities of jump packs and a Primarch, it wasn't too difficult for me to just hop out, leap over, and into the building. Like, I didn't actually get many bases in contact, but it was enough.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Curze, he's good.
I did not enjoy seeing my own Primarch do that on turn 1. But
what do you mean you didn't enjoy? That should be exactly what you enjoy. You want to see him do well.
I mean, yeah, sure, but why doesn't he do well for me?
But yeah, so the interesting thing, it was a very early turn 1 charge straight away. This is a turn 1 charge in a system where we have adapted the rules so that you can't just have a double movement charge. No, we actually roll for these charges. That's one of our changes in our Mead Hall Compendium. So it just shows it still can be done. It's not like we're eliminating that potentiality completely.
Yeah, and unlike the turn 1 charge last turn, this is actually like a relatively good one.
It's a safe one.
It's coming from the attacker, not the defender.
I wasn't out of position, is what we're saying. Yes, so that is sort of a prelude to what's about to happen. So let's just have a look at the main focal points. So one thing I'm going to point out as well for these main sort of focal points is, I'm the attacker, you're the defender. Where are most of the focal points?
They are mostly in the defense.
They're mostly in the defender's deployment zone, or defender's side of the board. This is what you expect to happen if you play the mission the way it's intended. That's not to say you can't do things on the back line as the defender. You definitely can, but particularly in this scenario where you are very much encouraged to defend your side of the board, and you don't have any real incentive to go onto my side. You don't actually, in this particular instance, you don't have any units capable of getting there very quickly anyway. There's no need for you to do it.
Yeah.
So it's it's nice to see that you both adapted to that style of play. I will point out, as I do actually have a couple of tactical units on the backline objectives for my side, so I'm still ticking over points.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which is definitely a tactic you should be considering doing as the attacker regardless, especially, again, in our version of the game anyway, because Legion's rules as written, you can technically just take the objectives and walk away from them. At that point, you just end up with a run in the middle. That's why we changed that.
Yeah.
So this hopefully shows you why we've changed it, because this shows you a way that a battle probably should look. So I think this is a good example of how the game should look.
Mm.
It's very narrative way of doing things. So,
Yeah.
shall we zoom into some of these key points?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
We already teased it, so we're going to go straight in. Konrad Curze slamming into the building with his jump troop Night Raptors. They do what Night Lords should do. They charge into a building and cause absolute havoc and basically kill everyone in it, apart from I think one stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the one who survived, which was very sad.
Yeah, and they automatically fail morale because there are rules I've got for Curze. One of his special rules is that if he wins a combat, the opponent fails. That any morales that they would normally have to take automatically, because he's the big scary Night Haunter.
Mm-hmm.
It has been written in such a way that a unit that is immune to morale can't fail, because obviously can't take it.
Yeah.
So it's not like the Night Haunter breaks rules in the sense that you can't force units that wouldn't retreat to retreat. But if they can, will. Yeah, it's quite a fun little engagement. Turn one. It is, personally for me, it was very cool to see a Primarch being used on turn one.
I mean, it's always cool to see them used.
There is potentially a risk with using your big toy turn one, is they might get blown off the board or shot at. So
That's very true.
fingers crossed the Primarch survives a bit longer than turn one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that like I don't know the result.
Yeah.
But I've got to build suspense.
You know very well.
I know very well. So yes, the opening engagement, Night Raptors into some Velatari. Velatari defending a building as well, which is not that easy as not to crack, but again, these are the Night Raptors. They are quite efficient at killing infantry. Next up, we had some reprisals from your side.
We had the Lehman Russes firing into. You had a unit of Cerastus Knights.
I did. I had a trio of Cerastus Knights escorting a Land Raider.
Which we sort of identified as target priority because they were
Big
in the middle.
threat.
They were in the
Big
middle
threat.
and they were escorting a transport.
Yeah, and there was 3 of them, and we were just like, 3 of them. They've got multiple wounds each. These need to go ASAP.
You fired your shots. However, sadly for you guys, the ion shields on those knights did hold up.
Yes, annoyingly.
So yes, the knights got through unscathed in round 1.
Yeah.
Which I think might be a first in any game we've ever played. I think that the knights didn't actually take any damage turn 1.
Mm-hmm.
Which is more luck than anything. That wasn't really skill in the sense that they were out in the open. I was kind of goading you to shoot at them.
Yeah.
The fact they took no wounds was just luck on my side.
They're a good unit to send down that middle because they are one of the few multi-wound models, and they do have the iron shield.
To a degree. I mean, you can definitely overdo it. I mean, they were positioned in such a way that half your guns couldn't shoot them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was still an element of using your movement to your advantage. What neither of your Cassuses were in range or had line of sight. Half of your long range units couldn't target them. It was only a couple of Russers and some Questoris, I think, that were even potentially able to shoot them.
We had a lot of anti-infantry firepower, so it was but at the time we both we made the decision because we were like, oh, big knights, that's scary, they have something with them that we don't want them to have, let's get rid of them. And that was the end of that, really.
So sadly that particular venture didn't work out. So you attempted another one, which was not long after with the artillery tanks, the basilisks.
I like these very much. I want some. I think actually this might be my first time using them, or maybe just like a second time.
So they shot into the Vindicators, who are also escorting in transport.
They were indeed.
And we managed to destroy one of them, which was quite nice.
Yeah, you rolled not amazingly with the basilisks on turn 1, sadly.
Yeah, that one was a bit of a whiff of a roll for the Merciless.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, because they can be cool. I mean, like with most things in the game, they hit on 4s generally, so they're very swingy. When you're firing in direct, they hit on 5s, so yeah. There's not a high chance for you doing a massive amount of damage regardless, but you did have 8 of them, so I was expecting a couple to go through.
Yeah.
But I think
I was wanting to start whittling down the things that had transports with them as priority.
I don't disagree with the ideology of target priority. That's definitely the right move. Just sadly didn't do a whole lot in turn 1, but then it's only turn 1. That was that. We did have a little bit more success though. Of course, from
we had another sniper Acastus moment.
I hate
managed
you.
to
I hate
take
you
out...
playing these things. I hate you playing them so much.
I love them. I love them so much. So I managed to take out one of your Kratos.
You did, which I will admit actually was quite lucky on my part. You could have killed a lot more. Yeah, it's annoying seeing you have success with them, but at the same time I can't complain because actually you could have done a lot more.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was still quite cool. You've still apparently got luck with the Acastus. So long may it continue.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to see them getting used, which is nice. So yes,
I like them a lot.
So one of my poor Kratoses got blown up, but you didn't snipe the character one this time. You'll probably notice back here, the majority of the focal points are actually you two shooting at me.
Yeah.
And that's because in the first round, I think 99% of the units I had on the table all marched.
Yeah, you literally marched everything.
Basically everything apart from infantry marched for you.
Which you turned like the 2 things on your objectives over, and then I can't remember, there was like something else, maybe 1 or 2 others, and then you just went, okay, and I'm done. And I was like, what? And you just had like all of these march tokens turned over. And me and Eliza were just like, okay, yeah.
I mean, I was quite happy about it.
We were like, we've got a turn to do some stuff and get some stuff gone. So that was more our objective then. It was like, right, okay, we've got 1 turn where he basically can't do anything and he's out in the open. This is our chance. So
well, you say out in the open. We'll come to that in a minute.
You're not very
We'll come back to that in a minute. But yes, your Questoris Knights did actually get some shots off as well, didn't they?
Yes. Once again, going for the Cerastus. No luck, annoyingly. But
those iron shields were rolling hot this game.
Yeah, they're very good.
Yeah, it proved that the Knights do have some durability, which is nice.
To be fair, those and the Lancers, their iron shields are particularly good.
The Lancer ones are insane.
Yeah, the Lancer ones are insane.
I think they're a 2-up iron. It's absolutely mad.
It's mad.
They are a nightmare to deal with. They can be dealt with, as I proved last time, but they are a nightmare. These ones are a little less egregious, but apparently they're still doing quite well today. So yes, so that actually was the end of round 1. Round 1 was quite quick, because, as I say, 90% of my stuff just marched. So if we just have a quick look at the battlefield again here. So as you can hopefully see from our little overhead here, not a whole lot's changed, because not a whole lot has fought or died or shot. But going back to Elle's comment about being out in the open on a march order, well, actually quite the opposite. I only had a couple of units or a couple of models in a couple of cases actually visible to you.
Yeah.
That is true, yeah.
You had a couple of tempting targets, but the most of it was moving up using the buildings for cover.
Yeah, so the only entire unit I think I left visible to some of your guns were the knights, because I knew they should be able to tank most of it.
Yeah.
I didn't expect them to tank all of it, quite like they did, so that was a bonus. But
there's still, they will, even if we were rolling particularly well, they would still be a slog to get through.
Yeah, I predicted I might lose one at this point, like an entire knight.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been impossible to kill all three, but it would have been, you'd have had to roll stupidly well, and I'd have had to fail almost every save, I think.
Yeah.
So I know.
And with those iron shields, that wouldn't be very viable.
I was pretty confident they would survive. They survived extremely well. So this is sort of going back to the tactics thing. This is very much a case of use the terrain to your advantage. Yes, I'm the attacker. I've got to press forward, but you can press forward in such a way that you can mitigate the damage. Beyond one cheeky charge, I was able to make a lot of progress up the table, which is massive in a game like this, where I've got to get off your side of the table edge from all the way across the other side of the short edge table.
Yeah.
It's quite a long way to travel. So using that first turn to just hum it up the board as quick as possible was definitely a necessary thing to do.
Yeah, because it meant you also didn't have anything out in the open, especially not key units. Yeah. Which is another reason why I wanted to use the indirect fire on the basilisks, because I knew you weren't going to let us see those units very easily.
Ironically, if you had fired all of the basilisks and everything else at the knights, you would have had a higher chance of taking more out.
Yeah.
And actually, obviously, the basilisks would have had direct line of sight, so you'd be hitting on 4s rather than 5s.
Yeah.
So there is an argument that you could have ignored that, particularly at this point in the game, and tried to take out a knight or two. I see where you were going, and I don't think it did you any harm.
No, I think they're kind of equally valid.
And at the end of round 1, points were scored. I did take an early lead straight away because I managed to secure enough objectives to score more highly.
You just happened to be close enough to that central objective.
Yeah, I got a little bit lucky there. I didn't notice I was close enough to it to claim it. I just suddenly realised, oh, hello. So,
I don't think we did very well on our secondaries either, so it probably didn't help all that much.
Neither of us did. I mean, we both sides only scored 5 points on secondaries there. So
yeah,
I think one of our secondaries was kill stuff, which
we've
gone over the issues with that already.
Yeah, I didn't make it easy for you on that one.
Yeah.
So this could be a sign of things to come, but there is an element of requiring to push out a little bit as the defender, because I've got board control right now, and I have more objectives, which means I'm scoring more than primary. So there is potentially an argument that maybe a little bit of a push would have been beneficial. But I'm also aware that you guys were very afraid of things that weren't on the table. Without spoilers. But I think we're going to find out a little bit about why in just a minute. Okay, and here we are for round 2. So we're just going to hide our cameras again, and we're just going to have a quick little look at the battlefield. This is pre-movement, so we basically haven't seen any changes since the last time, so the last image was more or less the same. However, we've also got tokens down there, as you can see. And what's about to happen is we're about to move, so let's have a look at the movement. Quite a bit of movement from my side again, not so much from your side. I'm just going to pop back again and show you one more time. There we go. So my southern flank hasn't moved much at all, but the northern flank has moved. You may notice, the keen-eyed among you, that in the bottom left-hand side there's a few extra things. Like some drop pods.
Oh, these drop pods.
And deep-striking Terminators. Which have charge. Now, obviously, those of you who are familiar with the core rules of Legions, you can't usually charge out of Deep Strike. But because of the way we've changed charges, we had a discussion a couple of games back where we decided we would give it a go of being able to charge out of Deep Strike. And it seems to be, in theory, great. Well, I say great. Mm-hmm. In theory, it seems to be okay. However, the only thing I will say is everyone who's done it so far has successfully made every charge out of a Deep Strike. So, in theory, it's balanced, but I think because in theory, the idea is obviously that because the scattering in and of itself has an element of randomness to it, in addition to the charge roll now, it doesn't feel so egregious to go, oh, let's Deep Strike and charge, because in the core rules, if you Deep Strike, you then just get double movement to move straight into a target. We no longer have that.
Yeah.
So, in theory, it seems to make sense, but in the last couple of games, it has resulted in everyone making charges immediately, which is quite funny.
Yeah, but I mean that's not something that we can control, though. Really, that depends on the dice and how people are rolling on that time. I mean, it's a coincidence that everybody is passing those charges every time since we've changed it, but I do think it's entirely down to dice. So I'm not sure we can really
we have
put that down to.
We have a very small pool of data to follow.
Yeah,
so
too small sample size.
Yeah, so we do need to play a few more games with it and see how it works out. But in theory, I like the idea of it, and it's fun. You guys might disagree with me after the end of that game. I'm not sure, but
we'll see.
So yeah, so there's definitely a small push on your sort of your southern flank there from my Deep Strikers, which includes a big brick of Night Lord's Terminators, or Konrad Terminators specifically.
Yeah.
So yeah, they snuck in, and we'll see what happens with them in a minute, shall we? So what we're going to have a quick look at, obviously, is the focal points for the mission. Obviously, just hidden our cameras for a moment, just so you can get a clear view of everything that's going on. So again, the majority of the focal points are towards the defenders' half of the table, so we are still progressing the mission. We've got a few extras here, so hopefully we'll see some more action, in theory, compared to last turn.
Yes, hopefully.
Because, spoiler alert, I didn't just march everything. Let's go have a look at what actually happened. For some reason, you both decided to leave your unit very accessible to a Primarch.
Yeah.
After said Primarch and only 2 bases of Raptors managed to take out an entire unit of Velatari in a building, you thought it would be a good idea to leave a unit of Las Rifles next door to a Primarch and a bunch of Night Raptors.
That was a bit of an oversight, I think. I think that was mostly my fault, not gonna lie. Which would explain why it's stupid. Thinking about it now, I think it might have had something to do with giving you a target so that you wouldn't go and try and charge something else more important. That sounds like something that I would do. So I'm going to go with that and defend myself with that.
That certainly wasn't a discussed tactic.
No, it wasn't.
Are we retroactively saying that was tactical genius?
No.
I've given my defense.
Well, I will give you, audience, one guess what you think happens when a bunch of Night Raptors and Konrad Curze enter a building full of humans.
They die.
Skin and nothing
else. Mush.
They painted the walls red.
They get squished down and become face cream, basically. It wasn't pretty, and
that feels like something the Emperor's Children would do, to be honest, but
it's not face cream. You can't tell me Curze moisturizes.
So, yes, the Night Haunter has continued to progress across the board, killing and maiming and slaughtering all the way through. Moving on from the success of Curze, we are going to have a quick look at the backline charges.
Yes.
That caught out a commander and some rapier batteries.
Those rapier batteries, they're mush, obviously. And that was a little bit of a loss actually, because they were the rapier batteries that they mole under and then like come back up, and they've got quite a long distance on them.
They are more mortars, yes.
I don't think we got to use them before they got mulched, which was really disappointing. Because I think they would have been a really good asset to have. So that sucked. And then obviously losing a commander sucked. Because even though we had our like infantry around each other quite close knit together, you can't, when you're solo Auxilia, you can't use a first fire order or a march order unless you have
or a charge,
yeah. Like you can't use any of those orders unless you have a tactical commander within 6 inches or a legate commander within 10. And I'm pretty sure that commander that took out might have been a legate commander.
It was.
Which was even more of a loss. So that this wasn't great at all. Not gonna lie.
It also took an objective from us, which
it did, yeah. So again, not great.
Which, as we've already kind of established at this point, something that you didn't keep in mind too much, sadly, during this game is the objectives markers on the board, not just the mission primary, but also the objective primary as well. Successful deep strike from the Konrad. Speaking of Ogryn, for some reason, you decided to charge Ogryn into Sarastas Pattern Knights.
I'm pretty sure this was your idea, Eliza.
It's important to note that I don't actually know what the Solar Auxilia can do. And I asked the simple question of, are they good at melee?
They are.
The objective answer is yes, they are.
Yeah.
But against the knights,
we had set up this move. You had plenty of time to tell me that they would get squished.
I know, and I'm deeply sorry.
So I basically just overestimated, with the help of Eliza of a mission, how well the Ogryn would perform.
Yeah, so the Ogryn didn't perform very well because they lost the combat, they broke.
They did, yeah.
And then just to add insult to injury, I then shot them to death as well. Just to make sure they didn't rally.
That wasn't nice at all, not gonna lie.
True, but it felt very thematic for Night Lords.
Yeah, well that's because we were playing them like Night Lords. That's shade at myself, by the way. But yeah. So yeah, that was great. And I don't think the charge roll, because I did the charge roll, I don't think the charge roll on the Ogryn was necessarily very high either once they'd already moved.
You know, it was not a good charge.
So we were only able to get 2 Ogryn into 2. So, you know, if we had got a third one in and managed to tag another one, maybe we would have done another wound, but who's to say anymore?
I can tell you would have not done well. So yes, that was a faux pas, maybe.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was a valiant attempt. I mean, the interesting thing was that where they were positioned, I was a little bit worried that they'd ram into Curze's unit. And I wasn't 100% confident how well Curze's unit would perform against 2 wound Ogryn.
Yeah.
So I actually positioned the knights there to deter you from attacking Curze, which they did.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect you to charge into them either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was quite entertaining in a way. They did their job way better than I intended.
You're welcome, I guess.
I mean, thank you.
In a roundabout way. Yeah.
So that's that engagement. However, there was some light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, or at the end of a barrel.
Yeah, because we had the basilisks.
The basilisks.
They went into those vindicators again, and they were successful this time, a lot more than last time. and destroyed 2 and had the last one retreat.
They made them run away. They terrified them and they ran away.
Yeah. So, as is tradition on our channel, the Vindicators got shot to pieces. One ran away, leaving the poor Land Raider on its own, needing to be escorted. But that's not all that happened.
No.
Because there was also some more stuff going on against the Knights, because you don't like my Knights, apparently.
They were getting far too close for comfort, and we both were like, okay, we need to. Well, actually, Eliza was like, we need to do something about that. I don't like that. It's very scary. So I think both of the firepower from the Lehman Russes and Crastoris went into a Knight.
Yeah.
And then we brought one down, which I think after everything was a little bit needed, not gonna lie.
Incidentally, it's basically the same shots you did on turn 1, but some of them actually went through this time.
Yeah.
Basically.
Which is what I kind of expected to happen on turn 1. So at this point in the game, my Knights probably wouldn't have been out in the open. I probably would have ducked them into cover or something.
Yeah.
But because they were still at full strength, I thought, that's alright, I can probably lose one. I had an ablative Knight. They're not immortal. They do go down. It's nice to see, in a way.
It's very nice to see.
So one was down, so potentially could be a problem. Now, the next bit was something that I've got to say I was somewhat mortified at. And I know Eliza was very proud of it again.
Of course.
So, I'm going to lead into this by saying that I had positioned my falchions perfectly to get perfect shots down a literal street into an exposed Acasta's Knight.
Yeah.
Now, I get a lot of shots with these things. They reroll all of their shots on all of their guns. If only one hit from the neutron wave cannon goes through, not only is it a nice, powerful shot, but it reduces your movement by half, and it stops you from firing all but one gun on the unit that it hits, which is a very, very powerful ability. There's a reason why these are called Titan Hunters. Liza, what happened?
Absolutely nothing. The Acastus weathered it.
Weathered it? I didn't even hit with the main cannons. 8 dice I rolled. I only had to get 1 above a 4. I didn't get any.
You did not.
You fluffed on that one, because if you had done that,
if I had done that, what wouldn't have happened?
I didn't insult to injury. I shot back and took out one of your falchions.
Another classic case of how do you do so well with the Acastus? Oh dear. Yes, I was mortified. It was such a perfect setup, and it just went wrong. For me, anyway. It went perfectly for you.
It's going great for me.
Because I don't think you quite appreciated what the Falchions cannons could do at that point.
No, because I've not come up against those ones.
No.
Well, those ones are brand new, that's why.
Yeah.
And whenever I've used them, I haven't used them at all, because they've just kind of sat on the board and gone, I'm here, by the way, you're not doing anything with me, which I think is why Jamie was quite upset that happened.
I wanted them to do something. They're cool. But yeah, so one of them did fall, very annoyingly. Yeah, at that point, I did not expect that. So, going back to the whole Knights thing, I didn't expect them all to survive on turn 1. I expected something to happen with the Falchions. The luck kind of balanced itself out.
Yeah.
Moving on from the debacle of the Falchions, on the southern flank, we did have some of my stuff actually engaging in combat this time. So I had a group of infantry with a commander pushing up, trying to get closer to that objective on that side of the board. However, you had a group of Ogryn that were kind of threatening it, as well as armigers, so I wasn't quite willing to pop out. But they were missiles.
Yeah.
And I also had some support from some Sakarans nearby. So when I realised that I had quite a nice little set of shots against not very many Ogryn, I decided to just focus them down and get rid of them off the objective. Target priority and positioning that is the key here. Don't overcommit. Just because you're the attacker doesn't mean you need to pile everything out. If we actually look at the board state, pop my cameras down here, you can kind of see the board state. So not a whole lot has changed again. It's been quite a few key things have obviously happened, a few key victories and losses on both sides, but not a whole lot of actual catastrophic stuff has happened on this turn. It's been a steady progress. So we're building up, which I feel is quite thematic to the way that a battle occurs in narratives, in stories.
Yeah, for sure.
Proving why I wrote the rules in the way I did in terms of the missions, because it kind of encourages this style of play, so that it's more thematic, more cinematic. If you play it that way, obviously, you can choose not to. You can just mosh pit in the middle if you want to. In terms of scoring again, I am starting to romp away already on turn 2 because I'm taking over the middle of the board. So this does kind of lean back into that idea of maybe there should have been a push on one side or the other to try and take something. It's also interesting because we choose where we place the objective markers, and for some reason I think you guys place your No Man's Land objective marker quite far forward, which was interesting considering your objective.
Yeah.
I think that might have been one that I placed down. Well, I don't know, actually. I mean, it probably was, because evidently it was a stupid thing to do. And that seems to be my whole thing at the moment.
Yeah, I think maybe instead of doing a small advance on both of them, it would have been better to do more focused on one.
The way we score our primaries, essentially, you get benefits for holding more or holding half of them on the table. And in this game there were 6, so you have 2 in your defence, 2 in your deployment zone, 2 in the enemy's deployment zone, there's 2 in the middle. So there is definitely scope for you to at least push out on 1 so that you can always guarantee you're even on primaries. Yeah. Sadly, that wasn't the case this time. So let's move in to turn 3, where things really start to kick off.
Oh, big time.
See you in round 3. Okay, so here we are in round 3. We're in our pre-movement stage again, so we've pretty much not moved much from when you last saw us. You might be able to obviously see that we've got a couple of tokens down on the table ready for the reveals prior to movement, essentially. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide our camera once again, and I'm going to show you the transition. So let's see where we end up. A lot of things have changed. So if I just pop back again, you can kind of see that the south area is nice and clear, mostly, and the north is a little bit congested. But then as I move into here, suddenly everything's on the south side. Again, a lot of funky movements, but also a full-scale commitment to deep striking from my side, which I'm going to highlight here. There is one that I've forgotten to highlight here, which is actually in the south, right on top of that objective marker. There's a group of drop pods that dropped in there.
Yeah.
We will see a close-up of that later. Sadly, I didn't add it to this graphic, but I'm just going to take you through the stuff that happened actually in your deployment zone, or in the defender's deployment zone, should I say. So we had a couple of tacticals drop in on the that's the top one, which then immediately charged into your front line. We then had some more tacticals that dropped in a bit further behind and charged outward into some basilisks. And then we also had a group of dreadnoughts drop in as well behind the Acastus, ready to fire in some las cannon shots.
Yeah.
And also secure the back line as well, because there's still that objective down there. Pretty all-consuming. I was basically trying to put as much pressure onto your back line as possible.
Yeah, but you did very successfully.
Yeah, there was just enough spaces for me to get in amongst the things that I wanted to.
Yeah,
which was nice. You did have a lot of stuff on first fire as well, which meant that I was able to basically tag it all down, tie it up, so you couldn't then shoot it anyway.
I think this might have actually been the first time that you'd used drop pods as well, Jamie, and
Second
not
time.
Gone off the board.
Oh, no, it's definitely not.
none of your stuff went off the board this time, which was
this was
good for you, but terrible for
I
us.
think this was one of the first games where I didn't fail any deep strikes. But yes, it's not the first time I've successfully landed drop pods. Thank you very much.
I'm just saying, you've got a reputation.
You rolled a lot of bullseyes, to be fair.
Yeah, I did. I got quite lucky on a few of these. As we can see, I'm going to drop our cameras again. There was quite a few interesting focal points. Now, I've got to say, one of these focal points is huge. And it's not the first time that there's a big one. These next 2 rounds are quite hefty in terms of progress.
Yeah.
So let's actually zoom in and have a look, because it looks like we're mostly going to stick to the bottom half of the table to start with before we jump around a little bit. So let's have a look at what's going on in the south. So first up, we have surviving Orgrin that were kind of still trying to push up towards my objective marker. It wasn't my objective marker at the time, but they were trying to grab it. Obviously, as you can see there, I drop podded in and quite a few infantry to take that objective. But I wasn't just content with that, I also then decided to use the Sicarans to mulch them. You've got a charge order on those Orgrin, as you can see there. I'm presuming the objective would have been to try and charge something?
Yeah, there was definitely a plan to do that.
Yeah.
I can't remember whether it was bad roll or whether...
I can tell you that I literally didn't move anything near them until you had to activate them. If there's a unit you don't want to get in combat with, don't go near it. It's the short answer.
It's fair.
Also, they were out in the open, and I had missiles nearby. I had 3 units of fast-moving tanks. I did not need to get close. This is, I'm afraid, one of those examples of where you drip-fed a couple of units at me. Like the Ogren, I'm afraid, were drip-fed. You needed to commit something, because you were literally just giving me stuff to kill.
Yeah, I think instead of having the 2 units set up for the 2 objectives and then having the ones kept back as a backup, should have just maybe mulched them together and pushed them up for one of the 2 objectives.
Yeah, entirely possible, especially as there was obviously my tanks were all moving through the buildings and stuff like that, so they were a little bit slowed down by that. The Ogren could have pushed in through it, no problem, because they didn't take any penalties for that.
Yeah.
They could have occupied the buildings if they couldn't quite reach, so that meant that obviously they could receive cover, which they wouldn't get otherwise from all of my vehicles. It was a point worth mentioning, I think, that you just want to have a concentrated plan when you're going into it. So you want to avoid these drip feeds.
Yeah,
because that's essentially how I catch you out.
Yeah, because there was a plan with them, but like it wasn't committed enough to actually make a difference.
Speaking of, there was some support nearby, but it kind of got swarmed.
It did.
Because I don't think you were predicting that I was going to launch my Mastodons halfway across the table.
No, of course I was.
Absolutely not.
I was expecting them to just keep going down that side and run into all of the like heavy guns I had stationed there.
And that's exactly why I didn't do that.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so this is a case of adapt. Okay, so my plan initially was to go down that line, but then you put all of the heavy guns. I was like, okay, fine, I'll go the other way.
Yeah,
tanks move fast. Even the Mastodons move fast on the march order.
Mm-hmm.
So they did fling themselves across the table, and then a group of Night Lords, Terminators, and jump pack troops jumped out and attacked your armigers.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, I am very surprised at the result of this.
Yeah, it didn't go quite to plan, did it?
No. I mean, it technically went to plan, just not as successfully as I anticipated.
Yeah.
Because I think I lost 3 out of my 4 assault bases and 1 Terminator base.
Yeah.
And killed 2 armigers.
Mm-hmm. I
didn't expect them to actually do that well. I think I underestimated the sheer, just the +6 CAF is just quite high. Some units would absolutely smash these things to pieces. But a stock 6 CAF against most standard infantry is it's just not enough. Like the jump packs are very good at taking other infantry out, and they're particularly good at dislodging infantry in buildings, which get a bonus normally to CAF, but the jump packs ignore that.
Yeah.
But in a straight up fight in the middle of the table, they're actually not that more impressive than generic Space Marines, I would say. But yes, technically I did win the fight. You guys didn't fail your morale though, so the one armature did stick around.
Yeah.
For all of about 5 minutes.
Yeah, not for long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He thought he won and then turned around and went, "Oh no!"
He didn't have a chance to turn around because I shot him in the back with a bunch of plasmas.
Yeah.
So the poor little armature did not survive the reprisal, I'm afraid. But they still did a hefty amount of damage to my infantry, which was unexpected. I also had some Night Lord Dreadnoughts in combat with some Leman Russ battle tanks.
Yeah, and they were pulled to pieces.
They did not. They did not last long at all, I'm afraid.
That was really sad. Yeah, I like those Leman Russes.
It's nice to see Dreadnoughts doing quite well, actually. The last couple of games that's been on the channel now, the Dreadnoughts have been quite effective little units.
Yeah, they are quite good.
Yeah.
They're a very cool little unit, and they do some interesting things. However, it wasn't all glory for me, because you guys did have some reprisals.
Yeah.
And of course, the Knights did some interesting things.
The Questoris leveled the building. The idea to sort of open the field a little bit, give us more targets and more clear lines of fire on things.
It's a good use of Demolisher, because the natural instinct for Demolisher is to obviously use it to blow up buildings that have got infantry in them, which, yes, that's a very cool use of them. But they're also fantastic in these kind of games for opening up lines of sight you don't normally have.
Yeah, I quite like using them that way. It's kind of why I like to have a fair bit of Demolisher on side.
Eliza loves blowing up a building. That's like your whole thing. It's like your whole thing.
I love blowing up buildings too. I get the appeal.
Yeah.
Destructible terrain in games needs to be more common.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
And yeah, I feel like you almost don't feel like you've played the game unless you've blown up one building. Speaking of which, we can see that your Acastus there is now got a big open space next to him.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm guessing that's because he wanted to shoot something.
The Acastus fired on the Mastodon right across the field, which is kind of where the place... I had actually thought about that placement, I believe. If the building hadn't gone down, it wouldn't have been great. But
it would have been problematic.
Yeah.
But no, you fired across and you nuked one of my Mastodons.
The M2 one, unfortunately.
There was a reason I jumped out the 2 units to attack the armatures, because I knew one of my Mastodons might die.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd better use it as a spare one, essentially.
Yeah.
Because by this point, Curze and his Raptors have jumped back into the other one.
Yeah.
So, interestingly, there's still a Primarch alive in turn 3.
Yeah.
That has been active since turn 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, alright, don't rub it in.
I'm just showing that they can do cool things.
Yeah, I know.
Don't forget, this entire episode is a showcase in how you can play your army. That was, sadly, probably the end of the good things for you guys in this round, because there is one final thing we need to look at, and it was brutal.
Yeah.
Not the most brutal. That comes in the next turn, but this was pretty brutal. So there was a big fight that broke out all along the southern and middle sections of your entire backline.
Yeah, that was nasty.
Yeah, I had obviously deep striking troops, dreadnoughts, and the Kontakar that had already been in the backline, basically just sweeping through, trying to engage as many units as I possibly could. Which did result in quite a lot of carnage. You can see here that there's an Acastus Knight in combat. My question is why?
Eliza?
Why would you charge a massive gun-toting knight into a couple of bases of Kontakar?
Stab.
I mean, technically, yes, you can stamp. And I'm pretty confident that you did stamp one of them dead.
Yeah.
But that's a 230-point gunboat.
Yeah. I think the amount of backline has ruffled the feathers a little bit. And I was thinking of things we had that could deal with them quickly and not take any damage.
Ironically, the Acastas did take damage.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Honestly, the play here was not to charge the Acastas in. You should have kept it back and shot something more valuable.
Oh, for sure.
Like the other Mastodons, for example. Or the other Mastodon that had stuff in it. That could have been gone by this point. Or Stressless Lights that were now in range by this point as well, I believe.
Yeah.
Again, this was a move that I kind of saw what you were thinking, but it just opened up my ability to just go anywhere on the table because one of your main gun platforms was no longer shooting.
It was more of a panic move than a quiet move, I think.
Obviously, in theory, knights can shoot while in combat, but not when they've got a charged token anyway. So you couldn't have shot anyway. But even if you are engaged in combat, obviously they can normally shoot out. The problem is where you positioned them. I had quite a lot of units that were now in your back half.
Yeah.
Which
actually shows the ass casters.
Thankfully, I think we're far enough in the video that won't get us blocked.
The ass caster strikes again.
So that was an interesting move that didn't quite pay off, I don't think. So obviously, I've got tacticals that deep struck in further as well, which was then engaging the Basilisk further up. But because the Kontakar also tagged them, that brought them all into one big fight. And there was a lot of death. So
much death.
I could say on my side that I only lost 2 bases of Kontakar in the entire fight.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Do you want to go through how much you lost?
The Acastas got wounded.
Yeah.
4 of the Basilisks went down.
That was heartbreaking because
5 bases of the troops.
Indeed, yeah. It was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Now, your saving graces, I believe, the entire all of the combatants that lost the fight didn't fail any morale, which was quite impressive. But you did have you still had a commander alive. The commander wasn't dead yet, so you still had sort of the commander giving out the aura of leadership, which was very annoying for me because I think as well you guys got. Did you guys get initiative for the entire game, pretty much apart from turn 1?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I couldn't dictate combat at all. So you were able to sort of influence it so that I couldn't just kill your commander easily, which was annoying. All of you guys did hold firm, but it was a pretty brutal round of combat, which saw a lot of people get destroyed, including another little combat that also took place not far away, so I've lumped it into the same focal point. This commander did die.
Yeah, this commander got murked.
Yeah. That unit did die, and I can't remember if I think they might have fallen back as well. Or they might not, I can't remember.
I believe everything that lost things broke at this point, right?
No, nothing broke so far in the main combat, because you still have the commander nearby.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas I think this one, they may have broken, because the commander was killed.
Yeah.
And there was only 2 bases, I think, left.
Yeah.
Well, no, sorry. There were 4 bases left, weren't there?
The commander died and they broke. So
yeah. So that was less than ideal for you guys. Here is the state of the board at the end of that round. Now, thinking about this in terms of presentation, maybe I should have got some closer shots, maybe of that side of the board, because not much is going on my side. But yes, as you can see, there is definitely a push now. We are very much trying to get into your deployment zone, and more than that, what I've done is on the bottom left here, I have actually managed to essentially introduce a massive hole in your defensive line.
Yeah, that's not great.
Huge defense hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm obviously at this point now planning on using that to my advantage and basically shimmying all of my objectives off the table.
Yeah.
So I managed to make a hole in the defense, which is how you basically need to try and win a game when it's this asymmetric. You're not trying to fight the entire battle. You're trying to find a weak point and get into it.
Yeah.
And that's basically exactly what happened here. And as the scores reflect, I am starting to run away with it just a little bit now. We do decide to play on. We do decide to go to around 4. I don't know what your opinions were of that round, but I was very much of the mind by this point that it was probably going to be game over.
Yeah, I was pretty sure. I think I had like a small idea of a play, but I don't think it was a very good idea.
I think it was a case of, for me, I think it was a case of, we still have quite a lot on the board. Let's push for another turn and see what happens. But in my head, at the end of turn 3, I was like, oh, there's no way back from this now.
Never say never. It might have been possible. However, I do think you had a massive uphill battle now, and it would have had to take the full 5 turns for you to have tried.
Yeah.
But I was pretty confident at this point this was probably game over.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know until you know. And, we still had time, so we'll go to round 4, shall we?
Yeah. I mean, you two wanted to do round 4, so I was, like, outvoted. I was just like, okay, let's do this, I guess. So,
very much like the night in question. Let's go to round 4. Okay, so here we are. We are in round 4, as per usual. Prior to movement, I'm going to pop our cameras down, and we're going to have a look at where we go into round 4. So, some movement has occurred. I'm just going to flip back one last time, just so you can have a quick little look at where the board was. And there we go. So, we've got a mass movement up the board, as most of my units are trying to shimmy into basically the big gap that has opened up in the back line.
Yeah.
And you might be able to see just on the very back end of my deployment that I've moved my infantry out of my deployment zone with the intention that if we were to go to a turn 5, I'd just pick up the objectives in the centre and just push everything forward just to absolutely finish this off.
yeah.
You also managed to get a transport off.
I did. So during the movement phase, my Sakarans with their Omega Plasma Rays just marched and drove straight through the back line off the table. So that's one transport secured. That's another, I think, 15 points in my favour.
Yeah.
However, there was one move that you made that did actually prevent me from scoring this turn.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you guys can see necessarily, but hopefully you'll be able to see it. Just pick it out right in the centre there. There's those drop pods. I've got my 2 knights, and there's one of your knights. Very close, as in combat close.
Yeah, a very gracious bit of advice from you. Allowed us to tie up those knights in combat.
Yeah, so basically I reminded you that if obviously knights fight knights, then I would be engaged and pinned and can't just walk away. If you hadn't have done that, I probably could have just marched off the table. So yeah, that would have basically won me another 15 points guaranteed. And at that point, the game would have been over in the movement phase.
Yeah.
Because you never would have caught up then. So, in the interest of fun, I decided to give you a little bit of advice on that one, just so that we could try and see if you could win
Rally
the
it
round
back.
Yeah.
Because I think initially you had put the knights on their first fire order, I think.
Yeah,
Something like that.
For some reason, I mean, you mentioned being able to stop them, and for some reason, my mind was like Overwatch.
Which, ironically, you wouldn't have been able to do because you were facing the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's fine. We got it. We got there in the end. So, we do have some focal points to have a look at, and they are all more or less in the top left-hand corner to some degree, shape or form, because the bottom corner basically is mine now.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry. So let's go and have a look at what happened, because, well, quite frankly, some things happened that were fun for me as a result of, or in vengeance, should I say. But that's not before your sniper did his thing again.
The sniper Acastus destroyed some predators. Well, one, I believe.
Yeah. Just open fire, casually kills 3 out of my 4 predators. Just, yeah.
I love this snipe.
I don't know how you have so much success with it. It's unbelievable. Yes, the sniper proved his worth once again and sniped and did his thing.
He earned those points.
Mm-hmm.
He did. I won't deny. It is nice to see them doing well. I like those knights. They look epic, so it's cool to see them actually do stuff.
Yeah.
However, you did kill my stuff, so I kind of had to kill you back. Because my Kratos and Vindicators, which were next door, saw you fire across into the Predators and thought, nope. So yeah, my tanks will focus fire at your knight and destroyed it. So the sniper knight didn't survive, I'm afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Which
sadly,
sad times.
It had to happen. He sniped too much of my stuff, and I wasn't happy about it.
Yeah.
So yes, that's the end of the sniper. It's funny that in Legions, a knight to the side, almost the size of a titan, can be considered a sniper. Which it does remind me of the animation of Warhammer Plus. There's literally like a shadow sword that is treated like a sniper.
Yeah.
It's quite funny. Yes. Moving on. I'm never happy with just the one, of course. So I saw your other Acastus and thought, do you know what? I don't want you rolling well with this one either, so I'm going to take away your other toy.
Yeah. You got rid of my second Acastus, which was rude.
Yeah. Arguably rude.
Wasn't that in the ass Castus as well?
It was in the ass Castus.
Yeah, I had more Sakarans in the rear arc, and obviously the Dreadnoughts were still there. So yeah, they did their thing, and the knight died. However, we do have some more reprisal shots from the big stompy robots in the form of the Titan. Now, you will potentially notice, the eagle-eyed viewer, that this shot is taken from a position where the Titan isn't actually on the board, and that's because I forgot to take a picture of the knight on turn 4, so this is from turn 3. But you still get a close-up of the knight, the Titan, it's fine.
Yeah, finally the Titan did something. I'd shot I'd shot with it previously, but it just hadn't done anything.
It did some stuff. I mean, there were like a couple of. I think it did manage to remove the void shells from the mastodons and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
they didn't get included in the notes for some reason.
Yeah. But yeah, the Warhand ended up taking out the last mastodon and some of Curze's unit with it.
It did, which was quite lucky as well, if I remember right, because I'm pretty sure the falchions had shot it and disabled one of his guns.
Yes, it only had the big one.
The turbo laser destructor.
Yeah,
the big one,
which did do its thing, and it did blast up massive hole in a mastodon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Again, it was good to see that the Falchion did its thing. It did do its thing. It didn't completely fail. The final mastodon fell, but they had done their job. They had carted around Curze and his cronies all game, which is kind of what they're supposed to do, so I'm quite happy with that. Following on from the Warhound, the laser destroyers finally had range on something.
Yeah.
Because I decided that I would forget about their range and leave some units nearby.
Yeah, so we managed to take down the Vindicators.
We did. That was a strange moment for me. Because I spend my time, when I'm playing that army, I spend my time protecting that unit because I'm so bad at keeping it alive. And then they died on the thing that I rolled for, and I was just like, okay, cool. Not sure how I feel about this, but yay for us right now, because it was a unit that we killed, and I'm pretty sure we had another kill something secondary at this point, or something along those lines.
We had another kill something secondary, which I believe we had actually managed to do.
Yes, I think we did manage to do it.
And it is worth pointing out that although the Vindicators did die in this game, they did successfully kill stuff this game.
They did do stuff.
They were actually contributing to the war effort, not just dying.
Yeah.
As much as it was sad to see them go, also at the same time, they performed this game. I'm happy. They're cool. Yeah. Didn't blow up a building though.
No.
Maybe next time. If I'm ever allowed to play these again.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
It's another one on the ban list.
I'm surprised I'm allowed to play at all these days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so following on from that, we did have the sort of, as we already mentioned, the move to kind of stop my knights from just wandering off the table, which essentially that's what it was for. There was no intention of the quest actually being able to kill the Cerastus. Spoiler alert, he didn't. In fact, he lost both of his fights, but he rallied and didn't fail morale. Which means that going into turn 5, my knights still would have been locked down.
Yeah.
So it meant basically that I would not be able to get that transport off the board at the end of the game. We're going to go into Focal Point 7 again, and this is where things ended in quite a spectacular fashion. So again, my infantry ploughed into your backline everywhere they could. Literally just had tacticals everywhere, Konrad piling in, we had dreadnoughts everywhere, and so much died.
Yeah.
So much. This was a bit devastating, to be honest.
A lot of things died, and then the things that didn't die ran away.
Yeah. And because it was all towards the back line, there was no justifying. They just legged it. They were just like, "I'm good, thanks," and then went by.
Yeah, so a lot of things got taken out, but the key deaths essentially were the last two Auxilia commanders that were nearby.
Yeah,
that were basically taken off the board by combined efforts of Konrad and Dreadnoughts, by the looks of it. And as soon as that happened, it was game over. Because the combat was obviously soundly lost on the part of the Auxilia. And then they all had to take morale tests. At this point, I think on a 5-up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I failed every single one, okay?
Yeah, we failed all of them. And everything ran away.
I believe if we look at the next image, you can see what's left of the back line. I just
crickets,
hide the cameras there.
Crickets and hay bales at that point.
So I mean, the Night Lords have lost a sizable chunk of stuff at this point as well. However, it was too little, too late, so to speak. I have free reign to drive off one of the other transports, which is nearby under Curze's control. The night one is pretty much stuck, but at that point it doesn't matter. Yes, this was a showcase almost of how to not only run a Night Lord's army, but also how to play an asymmetric game where the defender basically has a very strong defensive line. It's in theory very hard to break, and how to do it. And there's a few lessons that we've gone through as we've spoken about various elements of the game, about picking where you're moving to avoid reprisal, focusing fire where you should do, and also trying to avoid drip feeding units.
Yeah.
And also, even in an asymmetric game like this, you still want to be playing the objective game, so you do want some kind of push forward potentially to grab those central objectives, at least one of them at least.
Yeah, I think the glaring issues we had was trying to split two small forces into those center objectives. I positioned the Titan pretty badly, I think, and just letting you have a lot of cover.
The problem with the Titan was that your idea was good. You saw that I was planning on driving up the side. You put the Titan there to basically deny that or encourage me to do something else, maybe. But the reality was the Titan moves a lot slower than those Mastodons. So
yeah, I think if I'd have put it there with the intention of funneling you to somewhere else, as opposed to the intention of using it to deal with the Mastodons, it would have been a good play, but I did not think of it to funnel you to something else.
Yeah.
I just kind of assumed you'd just go the way you were planning to originally.
Yes. I didn't think like a world leader. There's not much more I can say, really. I think genuinely you two actually did a very good job. You just made a couple of key mistakes, basically, that made it the game that it was, essentially.
Yeah.
I actually really liked teaming up, to be honest. It gave me that little bit more of confidence to actually kind of make bolder decisions and stuff. I think my issue is that the solo Auxilia force was so large that in that first original movement phase where we were placing everything down, there was so much, and obviously because you have to deploy in formations, I think I kind of, where I was placing stuff, because I was running out of room, I was just haphazardly putting things somewhere. So I think that might have impacted the end of game. But I think even during the process, I think I kind of was getting a little bit kind of flustered, because I was just my stuff's dying again. And I mean, nobody likes that, but I think it was just kind of,
I think,
one of those things.
Deployment wise, we were thinking about our deployment relatively constantly. We did have a lot of discussions about deployment. I think one of the issues potentially with deployment stage is that there were just some things that I didn't know what they did, or didn't know the sort of extent of what they did, because I've not played against. I don't think I've played against, or at least I've not played against a full force of solo Auxilia, and I've definitely not played them. So there was a couple of things that I've heard the Ogren are scary in combat, but I've not experienced.
Against anything that's not at night, they are very effective and very scary.
Yeah. But yeah, so certain things was I'm going on what I've heard from previous reports, whereas with the full force, doing a full force of knights, I kind of know what they're good at.
Yeah.
So I think we did a decent amount of thinking in the deployment, and there wasn't really that sort of panically running out of space. It's just more that I was making uninformed. There was like half the team was making uninformed decisions on some things.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's only the second time that I've played Solo Auxilia, so I don't think I did do a little bit of I did check up on some rules and stuff before the turn, and I had an idea in my head of what each unit did. So yeah, that might have let us down a little bit. Regardless, though, I did enjoy the game, and it was interesting to see, even if I was a little bit bitter about it, it was interesting to see how Jamie played the Night Lords, because obviously Jamie is the one, the audience probably knows by now, but Jamie is the one who coaches me, Eliza, and John most of the time when we do play a game, and gives us tips and tricks and all this sort of stuff. So it was a little bit of a learning curve for me to see somebody else play my army who knows what they're talking about a little bit more than I do.
Yeah.
And I don't think I completely regret suggesting this. I'm a little bit perturbed that we didn't win, because I thought, oh, there's two of us, maybe we stand a chance. But I don't completely regret it, because it was interesting to play against my own army, and it was nice to team up with Eliza, definitely.
Yeah, I don't think the thing is, I don't think we played badly. I think we just made enough mistakes that you can capitalize on, and you are very good at capitalizing on them. We made like 3 or 4 major mistakes that then you could just like hammer home, basically.
That pretty much is it, really. Just that those couple of little mistakes is all it takes for a defense to break. And that's true in real life. I'm led to believe as much as it is in the tabletop game. So it's exactly what you'd expect. But I don't think you two play badly at all. I think just shoring up your understanding of what each other's doing maybe would have helped a bit. Comes down to, as with many things when you're working at teams, communicate. And that's a lesson for life, not just for wargaming. Please, trust me. I have that argument I've had that argument so many times at workplaces. It's unreal. Let's send everyone to go and look at our epilogue, and then we'll come back for a little roundup at the end, where we'll close out as well. So we'll see you all in just a moment.
Push forward! Do not let them regroup! The defenders collapse around us, their lines broken beneath the weight of the assault. Tanks burn in the streets, knights lie crippled amongst the ruins. Even the greater caster's engines that stalked us through the battle now smoulder as broken wrecks beneath the ash. This district is ours! The Auxilia flee in panic, abandoning their wounded and the scattered into ruin as their last commanders fall before us. Let fear spread throughout the city. Curze still walks amongst the fire, wounded, furious, victorious. And already the order is given to advance deeper into the city. More defenders gather ahead. More guns, more walls to tear down. Let them come. Karthax Theta is dying. Then we will be there to watch it choke on its final breath.
And there we go. That is the conclusion to today's story. So normally I sort of close out these episodes by sort of asking you guys, the audience, a question that I'd like you to answer in the comments. I'm going to ask both the team members present and you at home to comment down below an answer to a question. So I'm going to ask you guys a question that I also want my team to answer as well. So we've just seen you guys team up to take me on, and you didn't win. The question is, would you like to bring in a third head to the Hydra to challenge me in a 3v1 battle?
Oh my god, if we don't win against you with 3 of us, that's really embarrassing. Or not. It might not be embarrassing. I'm not sure. But
Would you two be open up for that?
I think we should. I definitely think
I
we should.
think that is definitely the next step, yes. We will have to convene with John, because unfortunately he couldn't make it today. But I think that 100% I'm in. Any chance for me to get to see Jamie to fail some deep strikes or some morale, I'm in. So let's do it.
Okay, so please do comment down below if you would like to see the 3 of them versus me. What format that will take, I'm not quite sure. I mean, we will probably do it similar to this one. We'll still do a 3,000 point standard Legions game. Those 3 will get 1,000 points each of an army of their choice. I may even be very kind to them and let them pick the army I play next time as well. To see, just to really out the ante.
Titans.
I'm not sure how I feel about that, actually.
I mean, thankfully, I don't have 3,000 points worth of Titans yet, so that won't quite work. But that would be an interesting game. Yes, so comment down below if you'd like to see that. I'm not entirely certain how that format will take place. As I say, it probably will be 3,000 points split between the 3 players. Obviously, I would then take 3,000 points of an army of their choosing, potentially. But we could potentially, depending on timelines and stuff, try something a bit more wacky. Like 2,000 points a player.
Oh goodness, that would take forever.
It would be quite a mammoth task, potentially.
It would be fun.
It would be fun. But that does depend on a few stars aligning for that to happen. That probably won't happen in response to this one, but if that is something you would like to see in the future, if you'd like to see a large-scale game, potentially 3v1, please let us know, and we will probably arrange that in the summer, maybe.
If enough people wanted it to happen, I'm sure we could come up with something, yeah.
Oh, we definitely could. We've got the armies, it can be done.
Yeah.
But anyway, please do, as I say, comment what you would like to see in the next episode. And while you're down there, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and check that you have done all of the amazing YouTube things after you've done your commenting, obviously. And you can obviously go and find us on all the various social media channels, where we do very much encourage and invite you guys to send us in some hobby projects that we can potentially feature on a future episode of Tanker Talk, which, as of recording this episode, our previous Tanker Talk has done abysmally in terms of views, and I'm not afraid to say that on camera. Please go watch it. If you're watching this, go watch that, please. It's a laugh, we have some fun, we talk about some funky stuff. There's some cool models on display, particularly one of John's beautiful models that he painted towards the end, and it is well worth a look. So go and check it out. Other than that,
we should also say actually a big thank you, because we have just hit 200 subscribers, which is huge.
Yeah, as of this recording,
we've had a massive jump in subscriptions since we've come back, which is amazing to see.
It's very nice, and we do very much appreciate it. That is it from us here at Mead Gaming. Thank you very much for joining us one last time, and we will see you next time in the middle. Goodbye for now.
Bye.
Bye.